Centene Construction. Apparently he's got 3.7 stars on Google reviews, and there's a mixed bag. It's either absolutely brilliant or utterly shocking. There's no in between. And let me tell you, it's not absolutely brilliant. The absolutely brilliant reviews are most likely paid for reviews, or they're his friends or family members, right? But let's have a look at these two reviews from Laura and Adrian. And the reason why I'm pulling these out, because number one, they endorse the experience that I've been through. And also there's some additional evidence that I want to throw your way as well, to support the argument that the guy's a crook. So Adrian goes that this guy's an absolute crook. Do your homework before engaging with him. Doesn't pay his employees and suppliers, and he has a big list of creditors, or big creditors list. Company's House is the best place to start. Steer clear. That said, he is experienced in opening new limited companies, and he's a director of about 11 companies, right? Yusuf Ali thinks is wonderful. And Amika thinks is wonderful as well. Great professional service apparently. Delivered the build on time apparently, and they were transparent with costs and process apparently, right? Again, don't know who this person is. Again, Yusuf Ali thinks that they came to view his parents' house and they were upfront and honest about the processes and the procedures. Again, both these folks are kind of singing the same narrative: processes and procedures and costs as well. So what does Laura say? Laura said that this is the worst company run by sharks. Don't touch them with a barge pole unless you want to be ripped off, right? So the reason why I think that these reviews are nonsensical is because this chap here, Zaid Zulquarnain, who's left a 5-star review, wow, 5 stars 3 weeks ago, is actually his son. So he's got his lad, and he's no more than about 16, 17, I think, bless him. And he's got his lad putting on fake reviews for him. And I'm absolutely certain that these guys, Mahdi Omar, who hasn't even bothered to offer any commentary, and neither is Zaid. What's Zaid going to say? Bless him, the poor fella. Right? He's been cajoled by his father. Come on, son. You know, my business is going down the pan. I've been ripping people off. Can you just put a positive review on there for me? I don't know what you're going to say, but just stick a bunch of stars up there. That is his boy. Okay. And let's have a look, interestingly, what Adrian's mentioned here around Company's House. Let's have a quick look at Company's House and get an idea of what we're dealing with. Okay, so here we are on Company's House, and we're looking at Centene Construction Limited, registered office all the way down in London. The guy doesn't live in London, lives somewhere up in Manchester. I don't even know where he lives in Manchester at the moment, but he lives somewhere up in Manchester. I think he's put the business address in London, so it couldn't be further away from where he lives, because he's had people knocking on his door, no doubt, probably will continue to as well. Let's have a look at the people. Here's our fella, Mohammed Zulquarnain. And let's have a look at Mohammed Zulquarnain. There we go, goodness me. 12 appointments here, right? Number one, you can see is Centene Construction. If we carry on down, PI Congleton, active for Centene, active for PI Congleton. I don't know what that is. Low Mill Development, active on that as well. So you can see you've got a development company here. You've got construction company here. Zaid Capital Limited again. Active director on that. Now remember, Zaid Zulquarnain that left a positive review on Google. It's the same fella. It's his son, right? So he's got his son doing fake reviews for him. And he's got a business in his name as well, which is still showing as active. And that was set up in December 2018. Interestingly, Low Mill Development was set up in November 2022. PI Congleton was set up in December 2022. And Centene Construction was also set up, or he was appointed on the 15th of December 22, right? If you carry on down, PPRS Development. Now this is an interesting one. PPRS Development is a director that's been running since about 2017. Okay, and this is a really interesting one. Why? Let's click into it and have a look while the accounts are showing as overdue. But look, previous company name was Hassle Free Build Limited, right? Up until November 2022. Now, this cheeky fella what he tried to do was send me the contract for hassle-free build. Right, when he started my project, he sent me the contract for hassle-free build, but it developed it under the name CENTENE Construction. Why he did that, I don't know. And at the time, I never thought too much into it because I thought he was a friend, and I thought, well, he ain't gonna stiff me, so I can trust him. And I didn't think too much into it. But hassle-free build is an interesting company, and the reason why it's interesting is because he's changed the name to PPRS Development, but it was a company that was developing a plot of land up in Stalybridge near Manchester, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a second. Okay, so this is the Stalybridge area, right? Now, I actually visited Zul because we used to bike, and we biked up to Manchester. And we came here, and I visited this before it was developed. Works were in progress at that time, and this was a plot of land that Zul had the contract to develop, and all these houses have been developed by him and his company, Hassle-Free Build. So all this was done under the banner of Hassle-Free Build. So you've got 1 here, 2 there, 3 there, 3 here, yep, 4 here, 5 and 6. The 6th one's still under progress. Okay, so these were built under hassle-free build, and you can see that Hunter's Court. And I remember when speaking to Zul, he'd sold, I think, 5 of them. This up to 4 or 5 of them, and the last one didn't get developed. He had the permission for it, but it didn't get developed under the company name. And we're curious around, well, listen, you know, if you've managed to build, and they look wonderful, if you've managed to build and sell these properties, right, why would you not finish the job? And your profit is arguably in the last 5th and the 6th property, because up until that point, everything else is being used to pay off, you know, whatever cost of development is associated with a project of this size. But project 5 and 6 is where your money's going to be. So you kind of finished project 5 or the 5th build. Why wouldn't you finish the 6th build? And he goes, oh, I just made my money and got out of there. Curious, but I thought, right, okay, you know, there's no reason to doubt the brother. And you can see that as of April 2023, the works scaffolding still up and the project's still ongoing. So April was roughly at the time where things started to go sideways on my project, as you've seen by the email trail that he sent me. So I was really curious to find out what's happened with this project, right? Why is it stalled? Why is it stopped? And why is it now, after these were kind of completed? You know, I think work was ongoing in these in 2018, 18, 19, 20. We're in 2023 now. Why has this one taken so long, right? What's the story behind it? And after he'd stiffed me, I thought to myself, no, there's going to be more to it than this. There's going to be a story here. So I thought, right, okay, how can I find out? How can I find out what's going on? So what I did was I contacted these folks here. You can see that. The estate agent, Mela, right? So that's the company that's responsible for selling this house at the moment. And I thought, well, maybe they've had some involvement in these houses as well. So let me give them a call. And my goodness me, wasn't that an interesting call? So this is the company, right? They're actually based in Stalybridge. And they are on, you can see Portland Place there, Mela Estate Agents. They're not far from the actual development site itself. So I phoned up and I spoke to an agent and I go, listen, I'm wondering if you can help me. I'm after some information, please, in relation to this development on Hunter's Court. Can you offer me any insight into what's happened? And she goes, listen, we're bound by GDPR, but all I can tell you, and I told them what my story was. I go, listen, this is what's happened. I've had a guy come in. He's developed, well, he's taken on the work. He's taken 80% of my money, but only done about 50-60% of my work. And in short, the person said that that's exactly the same thing that happened on this site here, right? So this project that he was dealing with up here, the reason why it never got finished was because he ran off with their money. Nothing to do with, I've had enough, or I've got my money, I've made my money and I've got out of it. Well, he did, I suppose, make his money and get out of there, but he made his money by ripping these people off, right? So what's happened is that he's developed this entire plot, right? Charged them X amount of money and then demanded, and the contract's been for all of them. And this is, I'm reading between the lines here because they weren't able to tell me the detail. Reading between the lines, he's agreed a price for all of them. He's developed those and then just walked off this one, but not having built it, not having developed it, taken the money for it, but not having developed it. And it was so interesting. As soon as I mentioned the Hunter's Court address, the person said, "Is it Zul?" Straight off the bat, without any hesitation, "Is it Zul?" And I go, "Yes, it is. That's exactly who it is." And they said that, listen, similar things happened in this project. Can't go into the details, but we're really sorry that you've also been a victim of him. And then it got me wondering, and I wasn't going to do this video, but then after that, after I realized that, I thought to myself, you know what, this guy has been ripping people off for as long as I can probably remember, right? Or care to remember, as I go back into the history of this. Because if you look, you've got PPRS development here, and then you've got other event companies. You've got One Land Property, which he was appointed on in 2012. You've got MZ Build in 2010. He's still showing as an active director in that. How long has he been in this sector, right? And if your company is running well, for argument's sake, MZ Build is running well, why do you need to set up all of these other companies 2 years after? Why do you need to set up One Land Property? Why do you need to set up PPRS Development? Why do you need to set up Hassle-Free Build in 2017? Why do you need to change the name of this in 2022? Once you've changed the name of that, why do you then need to set up another company called Low Mill Development in November 2022? Why do you need to set up PI Congleton, whatever the hell that is? Why do you need to set up CENTENE Construction? Why? Why do you need to set up all of these businesses if your company is running well as MZ Build, right? If you're competent and you're capable and you haven't ripped people off, and bear in mind this goes back to 2010, why do you need to do that? And there's another company here, Heaps Development as well. You know, I'm sure that there's a whole bunch of others as well. So I wasn't planning on doing this video, but when I saw that, I thought, you know what, subhanAllah, this guy's been ripping people off for God knows how long. And then there's anecdotal conversation as well. Aside from the professional dealings that he's had with estate agents and the landowners here, so the people that are that have been stung by Zul. Because what I understand is that he's taken money for the whole project, right? And he hasn't delivered that. So then they've had to fork out extra money to get another contractor in to develop this plot, the last and final plot. And the interesting thing about these projects here, so these 1, 2, 3, 4 houses, right? Before that fifth one was developed, these 4 houses, the reviews you can't see for Hassle-Free Build anymore, right? You can't see them because the name's changed and they've been taken down. But what you can see are the reviews for CENTENE Construction. And when I was able to see the reviews for Hassle-Free Build, the reviews, my God, were shocking. There were people who have moved into these houses and they're saying that we've still got people knocking on our doors. The homeowners are saying, we've bought these houses, we've moved in, we've got people knocking on our doors asking for Mohammed Zulquarnain because he owes them money. Can you imagine that? That you've purchased a brand new house on a development and people actually put this to paper, right? They put this on the feedback for Hassle-Free Build. And I'm silly for not, taking a screen capture of the Google review at the time. But when I did review it before we changed the name to PPRS Development, that's precisely what the feedback was, that the guy owes so many people money, that people that have bought the houses, got nothing to do with him, right? Got nothing to do with the developer, bought the houses and have moved in, have got people knocking on their door saying, can you tell us where Zul is? He owes us money. And that's when I realized, subhanAllah, this guy is a out and out thief. There's no other way to put it You know, I sat on this for months, right? I thought, you know what, maybe he'll come through. Maybe he'll come through. Maybe he'll do the right thing. And he just never looked back. And now I realize, well, why is he going to bother looking back for? Because he's done this to dozens of other people in the past as well. Subhanallah.